Bum, 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 bum. Hi, welcome back to Have I Told You the One About? I am so excited because tonight my imaginary friend is somebody who has been incredibly helpful to me. He keeps giving me advice and counsel, and we've had some uh, phone interchanges, you know, those things, conversations. It's easy to forget them in the time of the pandemic, what conversations were like. Anyways, I'm so excited. Let's do the countdown so we can just get to it, okay? You know the magic words. 1, 2, 3, poof! It's Keystone!
Hi, Cookie. How are you?
I'm good. Keystone and I are radical fairy friends, so I call him Keystone because that's his fairy name, and he calls me Cookie because that's my fairy name. Just in case you're thinking that maybe I have had a personality change, no. Welcome to my show, Keystone.
It's so exciting to be here. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so you have prepared a story. You're going to send it to me. Okay,
Yes,
I think you've got a little magic trick up your sleeve.
I do.
This is a
Are you
high,
ready to receive the story?
it's a high-fangled system. Yeah, my portal is ready. Woohoo! Okay, what story have you sent me? Oh,
Sent you a story called National Park Glory Hole.
well, we should let the audience know that this is a story show for adults, true stories for adult audiences. And this is a very adult story, even though maybe not everybody in it is an adult. I'm excited for this one. Who knows where we're going to go? I have a brief outline and I'm terrified.
It was the year that Love Will Keep Us Together was at the top of the charts. I think it was 1975.
I love that you
I'm
know the song and not the year. That's a good marker.
um, I'm 13 years old, and I know that I like guys, and I didn't think of myself as being too precocious, but somehow I knew about the glory holes a little bit, and I knew about the foot tapping signals in public toilets.
There may be people here who don't know what a glory hole is. Do
Well,
you...
do you want to tell them?
I was just going to ask you the same question. Do you want to tell them or should I?
Um, Go ahead, go ahead.
A glory hole, for those of you listening at home, is a hole, usually a circle, in usually a public men's washroom where people put things through in order to receive pleasure by people on the other side of that wall. It's sort of like, oh, who are those? What's that mythology where they can only kiss through the hole? Isolde and somebody? Well, anyway, some clever person out there probably knows, and I don't. It's mythic. You stick your member through a hole, and some other member on the other side members your member. So,
That's right.
so you knew of one in a national park.
Well, I didn't know of one. We were there on vacation. It was my family, which was my mom and dad and younger brother and sister, another friend of the family couple that had a son who was a little bit older than me, and then another couple without a kid. So,
Okay.
however many of us that we were spread across some small, funky cabins, and it was the week between Christmas and New Year. We were going to spend New Year's there, and it was pretty quiet, as I remember. And I made my way off to the bathhouse because these cabins did not have bathrooms in them. Maybe they had a sink, but I went into the bathroom, and it was probably my second time there that I went into a different stall and noticed that there was a hole between two of the stalls. And I'm 13 years old and horny, so I'm just like, oh my God, and I'm nervous and I'm scared, but I'm also really ballsy.
And
So
how did you? So you knew what this was for?
yeah, I'm trying to figure out how. A friend of mine had shown me the gay sex book.
Okay.
Um, oh, I forgot the name of it, but it was The Joy of Gay Sex, maybe? Maybe
Right.
that's like the cooking book. Anyway,
But you also
So I had,
intuitively know, like, if there is no information out there, you start looking for clues. So you might have just been smart enough to figure it out.
I'm amazed how much of this stuff was instinct. Now, I know that somebody told me about a scene they'd seen in a mainstream movie about the foot tapping, and that foot tapping may have also had a glory hole. I tried to find the movie and couldn't trace it down, but I'll tell this part that when two people are interested in interacting and perhaps deciding whether a member should go through a hole or not,
Sharing of the whole.
yes, there's some foot tapping. And what I know now and what I knew at the time is essentially you match the rhythm. If someone taps twice, you tap twice. And then if they move their foot closer, I would move my foot closer. But it had all been in theory at that point. So I'm really excited. I see this glory hole and I spend a little bit of time there, but I get a little freaked out. And I go back to the cabin, but it's all I can think about. It's
Right.
like, oh my God, my first time to be with a man. So I'm super excited, and I go back and I spend time there, and I'm waiting and waiting, and I hear people come and go from the restroom, men and boys come and go from the restroom, and nobody is there. And then once there's somebody who's in the booth next to me, and I'm tapping my foot but not getting any responses.
Hey, and John, can we just set the scene a little? Have you had sex with anybody before? No.
No.
You'd never made out with anyone. You're third.
I had made out with girls they were girls, not women yet, when I was 11 and 12.
Okay,
And
so you've never
gone
even
to
kissed.
second base.
You've never even kissed a boy.
I think this is that early, yes.
Well, this trial by fire. Jump in with both feet.
So I end up spending a lot of time in this bathroom stall, and I think I've got to explain what's going on so my parents know what's going on. So I just say, oh, I rub my tummy and I say, I'm not feeling well. I might be spending a lot of time in the bathroom. And they're like, okay, they couldn't care less. So that sort of gave me some time to do it. And so I'm in there, men are coming and going, and I'm tapping my foot when guys are in the stall next to me. And of course, in hindsight, I realized that any of those could have been my dad or my friend's dad or my brother. I think I would have recognized my brother's shoes, but could have been anyone in the cabin I was staying with.
Right.
I had no real way of knowing. But it hadn't occurred to me then. I was just hot.
Well, and that's the difference between being a 13-year-old at the glory hole and being a 20-year-old at the glory hole.
Yes. Whatever that difference is.
Well, you think a little further through on things. You're not running just on instinct. Like, okay. Oh my God, there's a hole. I should stick something through it.
So I'm spending a lot of time there. I'm not really missed. I make showings back at the cabin when I need to. And then finally I get a bite. And somebody's tapping and I'm tapping, and then we're moving our feet closer. And my heart is beating so fast. And through the friend who told me about this movie, I'd also learned something about blowjobs. But I obviously, if I hadn't kissed anyone, I hadn't given anyone a blowjob. But I was ready. So finally, I'm sort of sitting there, and then I see the guy's feet shift, and I'm like, oh my God, he's standing up. And then this adult man's penis slowly makes its way through the hole. And honestly, I don't think I've ever seen an adult erect. I'm in puberty, but I'm in the early stages. So to me, it's just massive and hard, and I'm just like, ah! And I'm so excited. And so I'm also a little terrified. I don't mean to sound super confident. I'm a little terrified. So I wait a bit, and then I lean forward, and I go and blow on his dick. And then I wait, and he pulls his dick out. And Then I see an eye come up to the hole and look at me, and his eye gets really big because he's looking through at a 13-year-old, and I hear him pull up his pants and run out the door, and I was just like, oh, I guess that wasn't it or something. I don't know what I was thinking, but that's what I knew enough to do was to blow on it.
The whole audience just breathed an enormous sigh of relief.
That was the only encounter there, but it was certainly memorable.
I bet.
There's a follow-up to that.
I love a capper.
Yeah, back in my hometown, there was a public park at the beach. It was out on a point. It was beautiful, very scenic. And I discovered, well, I guess I just figured, again, how I knew this, I don't know. I just figured that since that was a public toilet and it was in a park, somehow it might be a cruising toilet. I didn't know the term cruising at the time, but I went in there and I do my bobbing of the feet. But this did not have a glory hole in it. But I was still I wanted connection. I wanted to be with another man. I wasn't out at school yet. I didn't know how to meet people otherwise.
Right.
So I'm bobbing my foot and I get a bite, and this guy taps his foot, and then we tap foot, and I'm sort of waiting because I don't know what's supposed to happen next. And he puts his hand underneath the stall, and I can tell when he does that he's older than me, and I'm like, why is he putting his hand underneath the stall? Oh, he wants to shake hands so that we can meet. So I reach down and shake his hand. And he pulls it away, and I thought, this is not going anywhere. Let's see what happens when I put my hand under the stall. And so I put my hand under the stall in the same shape that he did, and then I noticed that he was moving, and he drops his scrotum into my hand. And I was like, oh, that's what I was supposed to do. And then I take my hand away. I don't remember the details here. It's a little blurry, but I do remember that this public restroom didn't have any locks on the doors. You could push the door shut, but it wasn't locking.
Right.
And then I had the idea that I heard him buckling up, and maybe I started to buckle up too, but he was buckling up. And I watched his feet as he left the stall, but he came toward my stall, and he pushed the door open, swinging it and taking a look at me. And I'm shocked, and he's shocked, because I'm looking at someone who looks to be like 75 years old. I'm sure he was in his 50s, but to a 13-year-old, he just looked enormously old. And he's shocked again because he's looking at a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
And like a cartoon where the legs are going faster than the body can carry it, he's like making his way out of the bathroom with his legs before his body can catch up, and he zooms out of there. And that was like almost the last time I tried to do that. It just never really worked for me.
Well.
So those are my early. I forgot to say that the first stories at Sequoia National Park, or maybe I did say that. And this other place was in coastal California.
Okay. Wow, buddy. Keystone. Those are, I always say that if this is one of the reasons why it's important to make environments that are safe for children to be queer, because otherwise you put yourself into such dangerous positions that.
Yeah, I never really felt the danger, but that's probably because my sex drive was just crazing my mind.
Well,
yeah, it didn't feel dangerous.
And if you're so naive that you don't know what's supposed to go in the hand or what a blowjob is, you also don't know what people are capable of in terms of sexual violence or abuse, right? Like, all of it's new, including how much at risk you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm so glad that ended well.
Yeah, and it put me off Gloryholes. I never really did them again.
Yeah.
It wasn't my thing anymore.
Well, too soon. Too much too soon.
A lesson well learned.
A lesson well learned. That is what this show loves most, is a lesson well learned. If you do not have an adult penis, do not put it through public holes. There you go. Thank you, sweetheart. I love that story. Thanks for sharing something so intimate and tender and
great to be here, dear.
Terrifying. Hang on. I'm just going to do a little bit of business, so you're going to smile at our people, yeah?
Uh-huh.
If you want to send your own harrowing stories, you can email through my website, michaelvsmith.com. You could tweet them out too. Don't forget that you can like this page. Thank you to the people who've liked it already. You can share this story. You might tell your family who isn't queer, if they aren't queer, that they need to look a few things up in the dictionary, especially the Urban Dictionary. And you can also click the notification bell, and that'll tell you whenever we go live. 8 p.m. every night, and you can see the back catalog of stories on the YouTube page. I don't have any, nobody sent me any photos, so I don't have anything to share with you there. And is that everything? I don't know who's coming tomorrow because I never know. I think that's it. Keystone, you sweetheart. Let's give a big kiss. Let's give a big kiss out to the audience. Mwah. Thanks for
spend time with you.
Thanks, honey. Thanks for watching my show. Have I told you the one about?